as we head into the second half of the tournament.
Dustin Johnson with a 3 medal, tied for the lead with a beautiful 65 yesterday and today. Had to finish off this morning.
Statistically, Butch, the hardest hole at Augusta down the years, this one?
It has always been for me, I can tell you that. It is long.
4 police, Patrick Cantlay now driving.
Tell you what, this young man goes about his business very quietly and modestly, but he can really play, this kid. He's the real deal, and he's got all the tools. 70 yesterday at 2 under wasn't a great round for him. That should be perfect. Right down the right center with a draw, all the way to the bottom.
4 please, Rory McIlroy now driving.
Go quickly ahead to the green. Slick putt from the right side. A green that tilts from right to left as you play the second shot. And that's extremely well judged. There's been a strong department of this young man's game. Former champion of your country as an amateur.
Tell you what, you look at this young man, and he gets a lot out of what he's got. He works hard. He's not a big guy. Doesn't hit it that far. Hits it far enough, but that. Now this guy hits it far, but does he know where it's going?
We'll have a good round. Thank you.
Rory needs a good round today under his belt, just for his confidence, just to get him back into feeling strong about himself and what he's doing.
Left to right down the slope as he hit it. And he had done okay trying to just drop that in on the high side. It makes the hole such a small target at that pace. You talked about Patrick Cantlay there, but we still see him as a young man making his way in the game, and yet 8 years ago he was the top amateur here at the Masters.
He's the real deal. He can play. He doesn't have the most gregarious personality, so a lot of people don't really know about him. But boy, his game speaks for itself. Now this guy we know can play, and this is one of the strengths of his game. I said it yesterday, and I'll say it again. Just watch his setup, how nice and solid it is, and just watch the way this putter moves. It's just, he's got such a beautiful flow to his stroke. It's an interesting scenario there. We saw one putt hang out to the left. He played a little firmer left break, and he's got some left. Just shows you if you get out of position here, Ewan, I don't care how close you hit these shots. These putts aren't easy to make from behind the hole.
No, so much talked about the second shots here, and it's not so much the accuracy of that, it's the positioning of the second shots. Not always played at the target, played away from the target, let the ground do some work for you.
The boys were talking in the studio before about these greens actually are bigger in size than they are in the actual square footage because of the slopes. You can aim away from holes and the slopes bring the balls back. It's one of the rare courses that you very seldom ever shoot right at the pin. You're always shooting at a slope to take the ball to the pin, and that's why I think local knowledge is such a big thing. You've got to play here a few years to understand it. There's a good 2-putt, even though he wouldn't think so after that first one. That's a nice save. But it's a bogey. He falls back to 5 under. Little something you don't see very often. The guys taking their driver from the caddies because that tee is way back in the woods, and the caddies say, I'm not going down there, and they walk down the fairway.
Safely tucked away from Matthew. Needs a good afternoon. We're looking at a cut probably of around +1. It may go -1. It may go to -2. A lot depends on the conditions over the next few hours. And of course that cut probably won't be made until Saturday, because we're still playing catch up after the 3-hour delay on the opening day, Thursday morning. Lovely tee shot from Johnson. A healthy hit to 317 with a 3-wood, and that leaves him 177 to go for the second.
177, but it's only going to play about 150 because it's so downhill. This would be a 8 or 9 iron for him.
Yeah, and he's got to go middle of the green, huh?
Yeah, pine tree.
Yep.
Hopefully it comes off.
I like what his brother AJ just told him. You're just going to go in the middle of the green, huh? You're not going flag hunting, are you, bro?
Okay, take your time.
Dustin Johnson, one of the faster players when it comes to hitting the ball, and one of the slower players when he gets on the green.
Came out pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, great shot.
Good shot. The way they were talking, he must have had some mud on it, because he said that came out pretty good, meaning that he wasn't sure how it was going to react.
Couldn't be more central with the tee shot, but he's hung the sight to the left, I feel.
The way he was looking at it, that might have been a mud ball also. Fitzpatrick down 11. Ewan, what's your deal on the mud ball? They say if the mud's on the left, the ball's going to go to the right, they think. Isn't it the opposite of where the mud is?
I don't really have any thoughts on that. I just know it's not going to go very straight.
As we go back and watch Rory, a second shot at 10. Boy, you got that right.
Thank you. Very good, Paul.
There you go, Rory. That's more like it. Get something going here.
65 or better. You get the feeling McIlroy needs in this second round. Once again forward to 11, this time with the driver Thomas.
That's not a misprint up in the right-hand corner. This par 4 is 505.
You look at the scorecards from Augusta boats, they all end in 0 or 5.
There's so many things they do here that are just perfect. You know, it's amazing. I've got the irons my dad won the Masters with in 48. You've seen it in a display at Lochinvar with one of his jackets as we watch Koepka drive. And the 7-iron my father won the Masters with is the loft of a 9-iron now today. That's how much the clubs have changed.
You must have some great stories. Your father winning the Masters in 1948.
Yeah. Well, I was there. I don't remember it because I was born in 43 and I wasn't quite 5. My mother said she had a harness on me and a leash because I was running all over the damn place. And 70-something years later, I haven't stopped.
So different back in these days. Let's go and join Cara once again. She has alongside her Dustin, 28th in the world ranking, but it's been a very good opening round here at Augusta National, a place where he's played well before, and we'll keep you up to date with all of these players. Remember, we're watching featured groups now for the next hour or two, and then we'll be into the main coverage just around 5:30, 6 o'clock this evening.
Interesting pitch we have here from Cantlay as the hole's cut on the left side of the green. Difficulty here is if he doesn't play a low running shot and plays it in the air and doesn't carry it on the green, it won't get there. And this is still a little sticky, this grass, from the moisture that's in it. The way he's set up, he's going to play it low and land it short and let it try and release to the flag. That's what I was talking about with that grass. It's just hard to get the ball to run through that grass. He's pitching that ball, Ewan, into the grain the way they mow it. Tough pitches around here.
He's got his work cut out to open his second round with a par 4.
Dustin Johnson now, he's got a putt, comes up the hill, but it's got quite a bit of break from right to left. You were talking about it yesterday on this green. This is one of the subtle greens, but yet there's a lot of break in these putts.
So much talked about his power off the tee, but maybe not enough talked about his expertise on and around the greens.
He's one of those guys you would say that's a streaky putter. He hits the ball beautifully. His distance control with his irons is wonderful. As we're looking at some stuff, this is earlier this morning. This was a beautiful shot. Perfect. He's a streaky putter, and when he gets putting good, he wins because he knows how to win. He's won, what, 22, 23 times? Won the U.S. Open. But when he gets rolling the rock, look out for him.
This wasn't bad either. The last of the par threes, the 16th. He looked a little worried. Was it going to fade enough? Well, it certainly did. Very nearly clipped the flag on the way down. And the easiest of birdie twos for DJohnson. So a man very much in form going into the second round.
That was the putt for birdie at 10. Still has some work left. I'll tell you what, you don't take any of these short putts for granted out here. You see these guys grinding on 18 inches and 24-inch putts because there's actually break in them. You don't have that very often.
Fitzpatrick on his way, just letting this slip out to the right side, understandably so. It's an easier pin position today, and he's brought that nicely back on what little breeze there is coming off his right. Good chance of a 3 at 11.
Get these front pin placements. It's hard to keep it under the hole, but he's done it beautifully. As we go back to Cantlay at 10, unfortunately, this for par. This would be a big putt for Rory. Rory can get started here. Get something going in the right direction. You know how these players are, and they can be going along struggling. All of a sudden, one shot turns everything around. They get their confidence. They make a few putts, and they get on a roll again.
We saw that with Koepka towards the end of his first round. The eagle at 15, followed by the birdie at 16. That's much more like it. And 2 quality shots to get there from McIlroy. But as I say, he needs 65 or better if he's to be in the mix going into the last 36 holes. And he's played that 9 extremely well over the last 5 years. He's 24 under for the back 9. He's only 4 under for the front 9. But what a lovely start. Toughest hole in the course, and McIlroy opens up with a birdie 3.
This one's not very easy either, as we look at Justin Thomas from 196, and that ball is going left. Nice big high draw for JT. Cantlay trying to clean up his bogey. You know, that shot tracer made that ball look like it started at the pin and was going left. He actually started that ball right at the green with a beautiful draw.
Be a different shape for Koepka. Be trying to hold it up from left to right. And there's many ways to do it and do it well, and all 3 have certainly done that at the 11th.
Not going to see 3 better shots in a group than those 3, that's for sure. DJ now cleaning up for par at 10. Remains 7 under, tied for the lead.
Try and keep you up to date with what's going on. Cameron Smith, we saw briefly yesterday. 27 years of age, winner of the Sony this year, and 5th in the Masters 2 years ago. Good start for Cameron. Off the birdie at 10, McIlroy. Trying to smash this down the right side. That may be a bit too far right.
Get lucky.
Yeah, he said get lucky, so he knows it's too far right. That's Paul was talking about it perfectly in the studio, how he drops the club underneath and behind him, and that's his Achilles heel. When he gets that club trapped behind him with his speed, the problem is he brings in a 2-way miss. As you know, if his hands don't catch up, it goes to the right. If he flips it, it goes to the left.
Birdie try from Fitzpatrick, head at the green. The other thing I would say with McIlroy, Butch, is we all have things we started the game with, and his chin sits on his right shoulder, which almost leads you into being a little behind it.
Yes, it does. I'm trying to get him to release his head as he goes through, like this man does. Watch the ball leave instead of hanging back with the head. Started left, but is it coming back? It is not. And the leader's in a little bit of trouble. Koepka for birdie. Kind of finished on the other side of the hole. Just carried a little too much pace. Cantlay on the tee at 11. Can he find the fairway?
Swing.
Yes, he can.
Top of the backswing position there of Cantlay was just outstanding.
One of the few players that reminds me of Gary Player. He makes no waggles. He just stands there. You know how Gary Player did? And you don't see that very often today. Justin Thomas for birdie at 11. Can someone make one? Wow, we had 3 great shots in there, and nobody took advantage of it.
Nothing much wrong with a 4, however, at 11, and take your 3 at 12 and move on.
I think if you said you can start 4-4-3, you don't have to play those holes, go to the 13th tee, I'd say get me in the cart and take me there. Let's go.
We've got Rich Beam out on the golf course at various parts of the course, and this is one of them.
A little bit heavy-handed with that birdie. And this one coming back. Interesting enough, leaves the flag stick in, as you're allowed to do these days. Haven't seen a lot of players doing that so far. Adam Scott would be another player that does it.
You would have enjoyed the 3 approach shots there, but Rich?
They were sublime, especially since all 3 players just had a little bit of mud adhering to their golf balls after the tee shots.
Good putt. Beautiful little stroke there. Nice and smooth. Any wind out there, Beamer, down at Amen Corner?
There's not a breath out here, Butch. It is absolutely perfect.
Well, that sure makes 12 play easier. Three pars.
Back down into Rays Creek. So the prudent play once again, headed out to the right just a little bit.
Let Jack Nicklaus say if you played it in the middle of that front bunker every time and just put it on the green, you'd be just fine for 4 days. It's a good shot.
Yeah, I mean, I could get that other one there.
Probably just hitting 9-iron or wedges here.
On the 12th green right now, not much, so I would say you don't want to probably play the big wedge just because you don't want a chance having a little bit of extra spin on that golf ball should you come up a little short. And just waiting for Patrick Cantlay to hit his second shot. Now he's ready to go.
Tell you, Beamer, even without the flowers in bloom, this is still a beautiful place, isn't it?
Autumn colors are spectacular. Almost equally as spectacular as the ones in April.
Another good safe shot.
good line, the pine struck, taking full advantage of that. It wasn't a bad tee shot from Johnson, just needed a hint more fade. Always planned to start that down the left-hand side. A good chance of a 3 coming up there, and once that ball lands, it leaves the way clear for Koepka.
And Brooks might actually try and hit wedge here, flatten it out a little bit. He doesn't hit it super high. He can flight it down.
Three good safe shots. That's what you have to do at 12. You get greedy at 12. Boy.
Fell away at that par 3 12.
Cantlay from the top of the hill. This is what JT was waiting for. So this happened a few moments ago. Lovely shot. Probably the easiest of pins you, and on the 11th hole is this one out to the right.
Yes, it won't stay that way, I'm sure, over rounds 3 and 4. If you're tucked away there in the back left-hand corner, that becomes a tiny target from the top of the hill at 11 as they have a walk over Hogan Bridge. Of course, your father played with Ben Hogan here on several occasions.
That's the great story of my dad's hole-in-one here, and Hogan made it 2, and he didn't even realize my dad made an ace. Walking to the 13th tee, and he goes, you know, Claude, that's the first time I've ever made 2 on this hole. What'd you get? But Dad says, Ben, I made an ace. So he just took the scorecard, wrote down 1, put it back in his pocket. It's a true story. I asked my dad if it was true. And the strange part about it is they're best of friends. They played every practice round together. He had no idea. That's how in tune he was to what he was doing.
That gives you the top 30 players, and you look at that, 37 of them are 200 and better. If you're just joining us, we're watching the featured groups at the start of the second round. This is McIlroy, his second hole, the par 4 11th, having already opened up with a birdie 3 at 10, but a real struggle on the opening 18. Butch Harmon alongside me for the next 15 minutes or so.
Interesting choice of Rory there, using the putter from off the green. We go ahead to 12. Justin Thomas putting for a birdie 2. This is down the slope. Now it should start working its way back to the left. Get there and you make it. Oh boy, that was a good putt.
That's what the great players do. You saw the drop shot 10 after that pulled second shot, and the hits back right away. 2 quality shots at 11, birdie 3 for Cantlay.
Koepka got a good look at Justin Thomas's putt. See if he learned anything. He did. Well done, Brooks. Brooks got those Andrew Coulthard shirts on, a little too small. Dustin Johnson tells Brooks all the time, what size you wear, medium?
Oh, Butch, you're the best. This one's a tough putt to read. This one's awfully straight. He's got Austin in there taking a look at it. I mean, you almost want to make it go to the left back there towards Rays Creek, but in all reality, I wouldn't be surprised to see it kind of hang on and maybe almost, I don't want to say go right, but maybe not move that direction. But everything in your body as a golfer tells you it's got to go left towards that body of water. I'm just not too sure that it does.